Tonight's nightclub is like a mini rock concert, with Rachel's car surrounded by crazy fans, while Frank looks unfazed, like a bouncer on patrol. As Rachel heads to the club, Frank acts like a hero, halting fan after fan. It was all sell scheme. Rachel never planned to perform here. This was for promoting her video, but Rachel got her first chilling threat letter in the dressing room, saying, times L pound A tilde divide by micro divide by R A mat letter 2 BD a half letter 179 pound sign half insisted on a quarter or grov letter 3 C U amount to acute letter F E F micro I acute or letter 3 F 2 cents or Cyrillic letter 4 F F Chinese letter 2 cents acute de tilde only then does IU that's when it hits so plus or minus IU amount half O Armenian can not sign all I a quarter or tilde acute 11 O and up micro yen a circumflex Cedilla Cyrillic letter 4 B 1 pound 3 O amount O grov braille 1267 pound copyright. Tonight's risky. Frank advises cancelling the show. Bill then mentions prior threat letters. Someone even broke into her home. Now Frank hustles Rachel out the back as fan enthusiasm explodes like a volcano. Bill announces the show's cancellation, but Rachel, seeing eager fans' passion, hesitates and decides to return. She won't be scared by any nut in the crowd. Rather than wait for Bill, Rachel returns, becoming a diva. The instant she steps onto the stage, the entire crowd is instantly lit up. While Sal believes Frank is being a bit overly cautious. You should grasp Rachel's role. She's a megastar. If she skips, her career's doomed. This gig's $1 million ad. And of course, Frank isn't one to lecture her. Just as the performance hits its peak, chaos erupts. Fans rush the stage wildly. Frank blocks them one by one, but it's getting out of hand. Frank rushes to contact the driver as chaos reigns. Suddenly, Rachel gets knocked off stage. Her sparkling outfit is now a shower of gems. In panic, Frank grabs a fire extinguisher as if at a grand finale party, dives into the crowd, restores order, and reaches Rachel. Scooping her up like a princess, he booted a wild fan aside. Tony screams, clearing a path, but Frank had already plotted an escape route, heading the opposite way. Tony punches a fat man, then finds the car gone. Frank exits the back, having foreseen the danger. He had the driver prep the car ahead of time. Rachel stays silent as Frank attentively looks after her. In the empty club, a fan picks up Rachel's clothing fragments. It rains heavily as Rachel arrives home safely. With Frank, she checks on her son, then to her room. Frank tucks her in, turns off the light, and leaves. Tony storms home, furious, the first god's honor ruined. Abandoned at the nightclub, Tony wastes no time throwing punches at Frank. Unfortunately, she's no match for him. Frank clamps a chair around Tony's neck, only releasing it once she begs for mercy. The next morning, Frank is up and at them, mercilessly early. Despite his muscular build, he's still no match for Frank. He's still defiant. He's a tough man. He draws a cleaver, while Frank chews an apple calmly. And thus, the war comes to an end, with Tony finally accepting defeat graciously. Frank performs his usual security checks. Rachel dashes out from a tree, showing affection for her bodyguard, and thanks him. She thinks of grabbing a date for the evening, but with Frank on guard duty 24/7, Rachel hatches a clever plan, the only way out. Yes, Sandy Harris, give me your number. I'm being fixed here. Deranged fan stashes Rachel's clothing fragments in his secret box, sneaking over to gawk at them occasionally. That night, they watch a movie and share dinner like a couple, with radiant expressions on Rachel's face, while Frank loosens up. They chat happily, even about Frank's sex. They dance together, drawing closer as night falls. They don't go home yet. Instead, they head to Frank's place. The next morning, Frank realizes something feels off. He's falling for his employer. If that happens, how can he protect Rachel like he subtitles? They parted unhappily that day. Next day, Rachel's nominated for Best Actress, and the crew goes to Miami for the show. Frank stays diligent, but Rachel, torn by love and hate, sings softly. Frank scouts the area from the audience, knowing he must set aside emotions to stay focused on keeping her safe. At the banquet, Frank meets old colleague Bowman, who arrives early for Ju Chang's visit. Rachel remains the event's focus. Times L pound A tilde divide by or I circumflex L hatchik A amad dead times acute O letter 3 C the man O armeniana U amad times also S really clet 4 E 3 I circumflex A amad acute letter FFB3 pound sign symbol 3 6 C H hook acute A tilde noble woman I high society lady plus or minus acute U amad a quarter O grov symbol 3680 Y acute O letter 3 FD cents 3 quarter A amad times really clet 4 FD letter 1879 a quarter O tilde acute U grov S acute O circumflex I'll be clet 6B 1 £3 Ugrovi Gwartha Tilda or Anine Micro Yen like it copyright. The way she declined him was definitely suave. Rachel almost lost her composure while Frank exits, his heart feeling like it's been cut. Rachel also pushes Bowman away, then tells Tony to remove him. She doesn't notice Frank there. He knows he's avenged, but is still heartbroken, loving Bowman, so he decides to take him home. He just lets Bowman stay there while Rachel watches him in sorrow. Subtitles actually, she has already fallen in love with Frank as well. During breakfast, Rachel deliberately sits beside Frank and then she makes her way to Rachel's suite. Frank finds Rachel gone, quickly calls for a search. As he runs out, Rachel returns from shopping with Tony, now in a better mood, perhaps due to Frank. At such times, only Bill can mediate. Frank leaves angrily, doing his usual route checks. Fuming, he checks the back area, only to spot a stranger smoking. The hefty guy runs his mouth and gets a taste of Frank's frustration. Can't entirely blame him, as the fat guy's sharp-tongued. Then his wife blocks Frank. He's just here to pick his wife up from work, but considering Rachel's situation, he's clearly lost his judgment. Rachel gets a phone thinking it was his son. He instead receives another threatening call. Now Frank has decided to quit working only until LA, where a new bodyguard will take over. Bill informs him that Rachel received another threat call, but Frank won't budge. He steps out onto the boat. Gazing at the sea, he seeks peace, but his employer Rachel is nearby. She, scared after a threat call, opens up her heart.